we're going to be talking about Twisters.
Just a disclaimer, this video does have spoilers. We both liked the movie. There's some things at the end that we want to talk about. So if you don't like spoilers, then leave.
Go see the movie then, and come back.
Alright.
What the fuck was that?
We have a live studio audience today, if you haven't noticed. So that'll be a fun one. Twisters is a 2024 disaster movie involving tornadoes, directed by Lee Isaac Chung, in which Kate Cooper, after suffering some devastating consequences while chasing a tornado, decides to go back to Oklahoma, where the tornadoes have clearly not stopped. What do we think of the movie?
It was good. I did not have any high hopes for this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I saw the first one as a kid, and I knew there was no relation to the old one, so I was like, don't really care about seeing this, but you offered, because you had already seen it, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And man, fucking crazy surprised that this movie's as good as it is.
Absolutely. Have you seen many natural disaster movies?
I don't think I have. All that I can remember off the top of my head are 2012, and that's it.
Really?
And it's not good.
The least bad one I'd say that I've seen was probably The Day After Tomorrow. That movie's fine.
It's about climate change, right?
Yeah. I've seen it like 6 times. Unfortunately.
That's too much.
It is too much, yeah. I want to talk about Lee Isaac Chung, dude. You haven't seen Minari.
I haven't not.
Minari's fantastic.
It's a crazy turn for a director like this.
It is very
who
different.
had like Minari that's a relatively smaller film. It's big in movie circles.
It was a COVID year movie.
Then to immediately move to Twisters, like I wonder how much of this was like a studio order of like, we need a director for this Twisters movie, and how much he, changed the vision of it, because it's not a plain movie. It doesn't feel like a director for hire movie.
No, it doesn't. It does feel like he put his all into it. I mean, and it's also not. We called it a disaster movie, which it is at its core, but I feel like it's just way more than that. A lot of these disaster movies have just shit happening and people dying and stuff, which this has too, but it has layers to it. It has characters. There's commentaries on profiting from disaster. There's commentaries on stopping these natural disasters, which I think was an interesting angle that this movie took. Is for a large part of it, it's about how can we stop tornadoes from happening.
Yes, yeah. It's a great angle to take for a movie like this, so it's not just disaster porn, You see the actual effects. Instead of just rich people running away from tornadoes for fun, it's like you said, how can we stop tornadoes? And they also showed the effects of like a terrible tornado on a community, which is some of the best parts of the movie, is where you see, the real shit,
Yeah, and it does feel so real, especially at the beginning when we don't know what's gonna happen. We meet Kate, and Javi is the other guy's name.
Yes.
Her boyfriend, and then
the other girl,
and the guy that got struck by lightning, and they all die very quickly.
Yeah, that was something where, I expected. It's kind of, you can tell that maybe the boyfriend will die, because in the trailers you see Glenn Powell and it's like, all right, they're probably gonna end up together, so this boyfriend is probably not long. But I didn't expect every one of them to die. That is pretty ballsy move for a movie like this.
Yeah, but it just makes it so much more real because I feel like that is the reality of it. The tornado doesn't say like, oh, they're dating. Nah, leave them alone. No, it's just gonna take whoever it can.
Yeah,
and it immediately sets the tone that these tornadoes they're serious and they impact everyone. And it makes us root for Kate and her strive to find a solution so much more.
Kate is a great main character. I think it's a very interesting idea for a character of someone who lost literally almost everything to a tornado, and then to come back. And her coming back doesn't really feel forced or anything. It feels pretty realistic,
Oklahoma is the place to be for her.
Daisy Edgar Jones, good actress, but you can tell that she's British and she's trying to be Southern. There were a few times where her fucking accent was slipping through, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, you said that to me after we watched it. I didn't really notice
really
it as much.
I felt like I could notice it so much, and it's not a knock against her. She's a good actress, but it's hard to hide, you know?
And then there she meets Tyler Owens, Glenn Powell.
Glenn Powell, the GOAT.
Yeah, who was a YouTuber.
Yeah,
funny portrayal of how YouTube works in this movie, but yeah, he's an interesting one. I mean, they are definitely about chasing the tornadoes and about the thrill and kind of about the fun. They go there and they shoot rockets and fireworks and shit into the middle of a tornado.
It's so fun.
It is so fun.
You gotta love such a well defined in the sense of they're all funny characters. You know what I mean? You gotta love a well defined group of like. They got Glenn Powell. They got the one who loves fireworks. They got the wild girl. They got the smart guy. What
they do, and Javi's team doesn't do, is afterwards they go back to the towns and they help the people out.
Yeah, it's a very interesting trade-off, you know. Like, Javi's is complete research, but they don't help after. And
no, in fact, they do some zoning things. They profit.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because they are still also profiting from it, and that YouTube channel does make light of the tornado that they say is so bad.
Yeah, but I think, you know, as long as they're helping out, they're giving free food and water to a lot of people. You know, they go straight to who was affected. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't have the resources like Javi and them do to stop them. So the most they can do is help out after. So as long as they're doing something like that, then that's totally fine. You know.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing to think about. I don't know. I mean, it's absolutely cool to see. I mean, I want to go tornado chasing now.
I don't, but that's fair.
You're not coming with it. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It's just no. I mean, that's definitely another, you know, thing that Chung wants us to think about here is what they're doing with the YouTube acceptable.
Yeah.
And the answer that he is giving is yes. But you know, that's up to interpretation. I think it's fine because they are in fact going out back and, you know, helping.
Yeah, it's just another thing, you know, going back to the movie as a whole. It's not like one layered, you know. It's not just we have the bad YouTube people and we have the good research people. These are, you know, layered. These are real people who have, like, you know, they want to help out, or they're not just one-note people, you know. And it's so interesting and good to see that in a disaster movie.
Yeah, it's refreshing. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, Glenn Powell ends up being the good guy, while Javi's team, especially Javi's partner.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely not.
My favorite scene in the entire movie,
yes, sir,
is when it's after the rodeo, when the tornado comes in, when Kate and Tyler help the family out at the motel, and they save them by going into the pool. That is such a great scene. How, you know, the parallel of her shutting her eyes, and, you know, it flashes back to at the beginning of the movie when her boyfriend dies, you know, and Tyler's there now, but they make it out this time. It's such a good scene. And also, that's the perfect, you know, that's the epitome of them showing themselves saving people instead of just, you know, chasing the tornadoes. It feels so good to see them save that family, you know. And there are real stakes because someone right before that, doesn't someone get fucking flown away?
In the car,
yeah. It's terrifying, but it's such a good scene. It builds tension so well.
It is, yeah. You don't know if they're going to live. There's obviously a little girl involved, too. And you're always rooting for the kids. Mm-hmm. This is the first time they're really getting along.
Yeah.
And then they both, without hesitation, save these people. Yeah. And that's where you see just how great these people really are. Mm-hmm. Javi, at the end, does help out.
He does. Great to see. It's a very... It's such a... It's, you know, it's such a basic thing, but it's so good to see when he comes and helps. Yeah. It's so good, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it had to be. Mm-hmm. It was to save Tyler's life, too.
Yeah.
Under the water tower thing.
Yeah. great final sequence as well in that small town. So good.
Oh God, it's so nerve-wracking.
It is.
Because think about it, you've seen all this terrible stuff already in a movie. You've seen probably 100 people die already.
Yeah.
And now all the characters you've been following from the start, and you like at this point, you're excited about, are in that very same scenario. People in that movie theater who are holding on to the front rows are gone. They're dead.
Yeah.
They're next, and they could have very well decided to kill them off too. It would have been just as, if not more, realistic.
I can fucking see in a scene like that. I can very easily see them killing off Javi to build tension more. But
Yeah, and then they are going to test out, well, they were planning on testing out the solution, and then obviously they abandoned it when they realized how severe it is. Go to town, try and help people instead.
Yeah,
and then Kate does go back and attempts it, and it's terrifying.
It is.
I thought she was going to die. I'll be real with you. I thought she wasn't making it.
I can see it. Yeah, it would have been a ballsy move, but I can see it,
Yeah.
Fuck you, Steven Spielberg, if you're listening
Fuck
to this.
Fuck you.
They should have kissed. I fully believe that.
No.
I think they fully should have kissed at the end.
No.
This is the one time where Steven Spielberg is wrong about something.
You're crazy.
I think they should have kissed at the end.
No.
I don't care. I don't care if it's cheesy. It would have been perfect.
No, but what they did is so much more powerful than kissing, bro. First of all, it's left on a cliffhanger, for another movie, perhaps. And the flight gets canceled because of bad weather, which we've seen the whole movie. So what they do, they look at each other, smile, and get the fuck back into the car.
Yeah,
and they stay in Oklahoma together.
It is a great ending.
That's what it implies.
So cool.
I think that there not being a kiss was perfect. I was thinking while watching it, if they kiss now, it'll ruin it. It's true. I thought it would ruin the ending. It would ruin the vibe that the ending went for. They can't be doing
that.
That's
fair. I understand it,
bro.
But what does Javi care?
Javi likes Kate, bro.
Yeah, he does, but
they can't do that to Javi. Even though he says go get her.
Yeah,
they can't do that to Javi.
Whatever. Crazy sequel idea. Glenn Powell, he's on his own.
After
he gets dragged back in the tornado chasing after all these years.
Twisters.
Twist. It's Twisters, but instead of an E, it's a 3.
It's terrible.
No, it's not.
You can make that one on your own.
Okay. That's my student film idea.
Wow.
Twisters. Yeah.
It looks so goddamn good.
The movie looks, it looks really good. That also surprised me.
You know what pisses me off?
What?
This is gonna be nominated for sound, editing, visual effects for
visual
sure.
Effects easily.
Cinematography, perhaps, maybe we'll see. But it's gonna lose to Dune 2.
It's not really a quote unquote Oscars type movie, but I think it's so good in its technical categories, it's gonna have to get nominated for a lot.
Yeah.
Dune feels like more of a Oscars effects movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean the effects are better in Dune, obviously.
Yeah, but this needs to get some.
It's not gonna win shit, but it'll be nominated.
For a rating, I would give this movie a solid 8.3 out of 10.
8.3 out of 10. Why so high, and where does it lose points for you?
It's so high because of the sheer surprise of how good it was. I went in expecting just a dumb, fun action movie, but I came out so satisfied and so man, I do love these characters and they're so fun to watch. Not my favorite. It's great though. What about you?
It has a 4.5 on Letterboxd for me. It feels difficult to say 9 point something. I want to say 8.9.
I think that works.
I think this is an awesome summer blockbuster. It's relevant and will be relevant as long as a solution for tornadoes doesn't exist. And, obviously this is purely fictional.
Yeah.
And it's so much more than a disaster movie. It's a real action, it's a drama, a comedy at times, and I think there's a lot of layers to this that I really like. It's just not the type of movie that you look at and you call a masterpiece. I just had such a good time watching this, and I just can't look past it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's it. That's the review.
Go watch Twisters.
Yeah. It's a
fun movie.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Form your own opinion.
Yeah.